I'm not by any means gloves expert, but I definitely have lots of experience over the last 20 years with many different FIA homologated pairs from Sparco, OMP, Momo, Sebelt, All Stars and even Simagic, so I definitely know what works best for my sweaty hands in action. But when SyncMesh contacted me to see and test his work, which he stated is made for the best possible performance in sim use, it was opportunity to gain another experience and share with you guys. Those are not cheap and comes in little under 70 euro price, which is still half or even 3 times cheaper from some of the gloves. I will compare them, but the promises from the producer are indeed very high, so I have to put them against the best. In my opinion, the first important part for long driving I found is the design and the importance of the outside stitching. The worst gloves I ever had, which at the time I got them were around 200 euro, and that was 10 years ago, are the Alpine Star Tech 1Z, which are very good looking but with inside stitching, and that takes all the comfort, particularly having the wheel tight in my hands. Karting models from All Stars are the same, so I definitely don't suggest those at all. Moving to the good ones, starting with the OMP1 Evo, which again are very expensive at around 108 euro. Almost perfect in terms of stitching, but inner stitching for the thumb finger takes a lot from the perfection. One of the best looking for sure, but I will give them 6 points out of 10 for that decision and the price. Next model I like a lot is the Technica Evo from OMP again, which have the perfect design for comfort. Outside stitching all around, 100% aramide, which is basically Kevlar material, the most breathable I ever had and definitely the most comfortable. Have thermal-reactive silicone pads for good grip, but I can give them only 8 out of 10 because for some reason after a few years the stitches become really weak. I don't know if it's patch problem, but for sure very weak point, and around 100 euro however is very good price for FIA gloves. And next one are my most favorite from Sparco, the Arrow. Those are the ones I have used the most over the years and they still feels and looks like new. The silicone grip is still top with very little wear, but that's all. Still like new with tons of driving. I will give them 8 out of 10 because they are around 180 euro and a bit less breathable than the OMP. The Momo are still new and as comfortable as those top models, but it's too early to comment on those, and as you can see for now I haven't found yet the perfect pair for that perfect score of 10 points. All that being said, let's see how those professional sim racing gloves compare against the top gloves ever made for real racing. The first obvious difference is the material, as the FIA gloves are made from Kevlar, which can protect the skin from second-degree burn for about 8 to 11 seconds if the car is on fire, and hopefully we will never need that protection in our sim cockpits. So those are made from pure leather on the palm area, which is artificial material with soft texture and lots of silicone to provide grip on any kind of wheels. The top side is from polyester, and here is what the producer claims for that material.
Now for the back of the hand, here we chose polyester because it is the perfect blend between breathability but also comfort. The breathability of the polyester helps in regulating skin temperature, this way making sure that you do not overheat in time, but also helps a bit with the sweating. Polyester also has the highest moisture wicking rate out of all activewear fabrics. This means that it is able to take the sweat from the surface of your skin and through the fabric pull it to the outside where it is going to evaporate much faster.
Before I talk about my personal experience with those, have to mention the design of outside stitching, and one fun fact I learned about it is that design is original idea from Michael Schumacher, who asked OMP to create pair for him because the standard models at the time was killing his hands. If that's the case indeed, thanks to Michael for that brilliant idea. That being said, in terms of comfort, I have to admit that those feels as good as the top models I have around. In terms of grip, they really provide very good one, and the silicone works absolutely perfect. However, about breathability, they for sure are less breathable than the Kevlar material, and as I really have sweaty hands after a walk around Nordschleife, I found my hand just a bit more sweaty with those than the OMP or the Sparco. That being said, after a long run, those evaporate the moisture just a bit faster, and I'm not sure if that indeed is material property or because it's way thinner fabric. I'm not scientist and can't comment on that, but for sure those dry just a bit faster. So, if I have to make conclusion, that will be in terms of comfort and grip, the Sync Mesh definitely match those top brands. They dry a bit faster indeed, but my hands also sweat faster in those, and as the sweat is unavoidable for me anyway, I don't see any advantage or disadvantage. I test them also for about 8 weeks, and it's way too early to talk about longevity, but for now everything looks okay. And also after sweating 50 or 60 times in those, there is no bad smell, which is very good sign. So, as a user of high-end gloves, I can rate them quite high because of the excellent comfort and grip, and if what the designer says is true, those looks like great option for sim use, but we all know that anyway, as I use them for my practice sessions daily, which is the heavy load in my driving routine. I'm personally really curious to see if those can beat the longevity of the OMPs, which seems to struggle with the stitching and some parts of the silicone. Things looks promising indeed, and if you want to order Sync Mesh, don't forget to use the measurement steps he provides in the website. That will really works, and your pair will fit as a glove. For now indeed, everything looks absolutely fine, and I have to thank Sync Mesh for letting me test and share my opinion with you guys. Happy racing, everyone.